his decision-making process is still very much that of a 19-year-old, but it's not something where I look at it and go, oh, this is ruined beyond belief. Like, there is a player in there that I am very, very excited to see in, 2 or 3 years.
So let's go to the number 2 overall pick now, Mort. Jalen Green, who you mentioned your TV co-host picked as his rookie of the year. Both you and I were on Cade heading into the season, and I don't feel especially great about our chances of hitting that one based on the first 10 games. But again, I'm not tearing up the ticket just yet. Jalen Green was the other, 1 and 2 with Cade coming into the year as the rookie of the year favorite. And, your co-host logic made sense. It was Jalen Green is on a rebuilding Rockets team. They're not playing John Wall this year. They're going to let this guy fire away.
Yeah. And
he really hasn't. I mean, he's taking 13 shots per game, but he's only shooting 35.3 overall, 28.6 from deep. He's only averaging 13.6 points per game. So, the logic of, if Jalen Green averages 25, it's not going to matter if his efficiency is bad. Sure. Okay. I hear that. Well, if he's averaging 14 and his efficiency is bad, that's going to knock him a few runs down the rookie of the year ladder.
Yeah. And I don't think he's having a bad rookie season. I know that on Twitter, people are always going against Rockets players for whatever reasons. But I mean, I think he's actually had a pretty decent start to the year. Okay, sure that the percentages haven't been where you wanted them to be, but he's been better with the ball in his hands than I thought he would be, at least initially. He looks a little bit more secure with the ball than I thought. Okay, how do you put this? His decision-making process is still very much that of a 19-year-old. But it's not something where I look at it and go, oh, this is ruined beyond belief. There is a player in there that I am very, very excited to see in, 2 or 3 years. I mean, this is not going to be someone who after this season, even if he finishes the year shooting 35% from the field, he's not someone you just kind of label as, he didn't have a good year. Screw it. He's not going to turn into anything. There's a guy in here. He just needs to have some teammates around him that can put the ball in the basket. He needs to improve in certain areas, of course, but I like what he's shown. I'm definitely not out on Jalen Green, but rookie of the year is probably not in the cards for him.
Yeah, or at least based on what we've seen so far. I still think, we saw what happened with Anthony Edwards last year, where it was halfway through the year, LaMelo was running away with it. And he wound up winning despite his injury, but Anthony Edwards' second half surge put a real scare into him. He had a legit chance to overtake LaMelo, especially with the injury. So, of course, not wishing an injury on Evan Mobley, Scotty Barnes, whoever, but I could still see, Jalen or Cade overcoming this slow start and getting right back into this race. I'm not making any definitive declarations of, okay, this guy is definitely going to win Rookie of the Year 10 games into the season.
Right, but I will say this, just in terms of the Anthony Edwards thing. Edwards came in, I know we thought initially before the draft last year that was a weak draft class, and look, everyone got proven wrong. Fortunately so for the NBA, by the way. Yeah. Edwards is just better. And that's not a slight on Jalen Green. I mean, that it really isn't. Anthony Edwards plays a more aggressive brand of basketball than Jalen Green does at this point. He's also significantly heavier, which means he can absorb contact. Green, I feel when I watch him, is trying to do that, but not really succeeding at it a whole lot because he's 185 or something along those lines. He's very slight.
Listed Edwards is 178 on Basketball Reference.
Yeah, so I noticed that. I think that seems, I don't know if that's accurate. That seems very slight. I think he's a little bit stronger than that, but I mean, Edwards was when he came in last year, he was 6'4", 220, right? And now he's 6'6", 225, 230. He is a tank. Green is not that, and that just gives Edwards another layer that Green has yet to utilize. Like maybe Green becomes that type of person. Like maybe his frame fills out and like it's not a problem whatsoever. So, but I think right now it's fair to say that Edwards even last year was better because you had that physicality component into it as well.
Yeah, and Green is another one where it's, the surrounding talent is not helping his case. Like I think if he had John Wall as his starting point guard instead of Kevin Porter Jr., he might be faring better offensively. Kevin Porter Jr., it makes total sense that the Rockets are throwing him into this role and seeing if or how he can handle it. But he's averaging 4.5 turnovers a game and only 5.2 assists. So it's very much a learning process for this young Rockets backcourt.
Right.
And I think it's coming, at the early detriment of Jalen Green, but hopefully to the long-term benefit of him as well.
I agree. By the way, is it weird that the most efficient Rocket is Eric Gordon?
Yes. Yeah. It's super weird.
We've been slandering him for a lack of efficiency for the past 3 years, and now he's shooting 53% from range. Like, what the hell is going on? This year, once in a while, when you look at the shooting percentages, it's just a Twilight Zone all over again. That
is his, please get me off of this rebuilding team. I need to go to a contender, please.
Yep.
He's sending Morse code in shooting percentages.
Yep. But by the way, when we get to another player on the Rockets a little bit later, I'm going to ask a question about Daniel Theis, because when is he going to ask out?
Yeah. And there is some weirdness going on the other night with Christian Wood too. And I know Rockets fans get mad every time I bring it up, but you gotta wonder if they further pivot into a rebuild and look to move some of these older guys ahead of the trade deadline for sure.
Absolutely.